What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
If you're drunk,
Blasted.
intoxicated,
Rip.
taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
So, what'd you do last night? Did you get to hockey? Did you get to baseball? You watch the reruns of The Last Dance? First time in a long, long time you didn't have some hoops to stare at. What'd you do? It's the opening drive. It's the first time in a long, long time you're going to only have one Lobo Aggie basketball game per season to stand out, to stare at as well. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Glad you're with us on a Thursday. It is Thursday, right? A Thursday morning. How you living?
What it do?
You all right back there?
All right.
It was. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of weird having hoops on in the house last night. It feels like every night for the last 2 months there's been a game on, and with the East put to bed, there wasn't a game on last night. The hockey was all right. I'm not gonna lie though, man. I watched 2 episodes of The Last Dance because it was offered to me last night. Saw me some Michael Jordan last night. Remembered how great he was. Every time I watch Last Dance, by the way, I catch another couple of stories. Like I think I'd forgotten the Brian Russell story. Why Mike had a chip on his shoulder with Brian Russell from Utah Jazz. How when he was playing baseball and Brian Russell came in and says, "Man, why'd you retire? Oh, you knew I was coming to the league and I was going to shut you down." He's like, "I always remember that." And I'm like, "Carl, you got to slow this kid down." I don't know. I just watched it. What'd you do last night?
Dabble a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Sports wise. WNBA, MLB, NHL.
Yeah. All right. The hockey last night, Edmonton was down 2-0 and they scored 5 straight. They beat Dallas 5-2. That series is now tied at 2 apiece. So we'll get some hoops tonight as Dallas and Minnesota get back to it. It'll be a 6:30 start hour time in Minneapolis. The series is 3-1. The Mavericks trying to close it out tonight. I think the story that's getting so much traction around here, and Reggie Theus tried to do it unsuccessfully. There have been a couple of coaches who've tried to do it unsuccessfully over the years. But it looks like this group of coaches and athletic directors, Richard Pitino and Eddie Nunez, Jason Hooten and Mario Mocha, have gotten it to the point where you will only get one New Mexico State basketball game per year. The rivalry that goes back 120 years, well, not every year, but just about every year, has been a home series for the two teams. It has been one of the best attended games for each team, and it always depends, right? It's a lot during break and the students are gone. But with the two teams playing in separate leagues the whole time, it's always been in question, should they play twice? And tradition and passion, I think, has always driven the two. And there's been plenty of coaches who came in. And look, Reggie Theus was really, really adamant about it when he had the Aggies going, and he wanted to do it only once. And there was great pushback. But now with the Mountain West schedule going from 18 games to 20 games, meaning there are 2 less opportunities in your non-conference schedule, and the NCAA tournament committee making it pretty clear to UNM last year they would not have gotten in if their strength of schedule, because of their strength of schedule, if they didn't win the conference tournament. There's opportunities here. I think I know how this is going to go over amongst fans initially. I know how I ate it initially. I don't love it. I thought this is one of the unique, nobody else does it. I'm like, yeah, I know. Lipscomb and Belmont are the only ones that play non-conference home and home. It's kind of what makes this rivalry a little different, was that you do play a non-conference home and home. I think in most years, and I understand where the Aggie program is right now. Look, man, the Lobo program was trailing the Aggie program. I know you don't want to admit that, but certainly in net ranking RPI for a number of years, not long ago, most years the two teams are relatively equal. I think the games are great. I will miss the two games. I don't like this. I understand why it is, and I think most fans are going to kind of bellyache a little bit about it. But I understand, especially from
There's
UNM
a
side.
whole lot going on.
And I haven't seen any of that.
It's I don't like it because, the Lobos are not taking away New Mexico State and then going and playing a true road game somewhere. It's all right. So you're not playing New Mexico State, so you can keep Eastern New Mexico or Texas Southern on your schedule.
Yeah,
to fill that home game.
Yeah, and see,
like this doesn't to me equal. Oh, now you're going to go out and play a top 100 opponent. I don't see that happen at all.
So everybody has an Eastern New Mexico, Texas Southern game, right? And I think part of
and if you want to keep those games, you
get rid of New Mexico.
Get rid of Mexico State.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I don't like. Look, I don't like it either. There are a number of schools in the Mountain West who do not like going to the 18 or the 20 game schedule, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Obviously, San Diego State was against it. I think Nevada, if I'm not mistaken, was against it. I don't know where New Mexico was on it. The thought process was you're getting more quad one games in conference, and hence that's why they got the 6 teams into the NCAA tournament, because in conference they were so good. I don't know if that's going to happen every year, and the time will tell. This thing will play out. Were you in favor of the 18 to 20, going to 20 game schedule, so you play everybody home and home?
I like playing everyone home and home, but you knew it was inevitable when they go to 20. It's going to be used as an excuse to eliminate other things.
Well, it had to be, right? I mean,
it doesn't have, you can just not play Eastern New Mexico.
No, so you would have eliminated Eastern New Mexico. So
Texas Southern.
Yeah, that's what you would have been eliminating. You said, to your point, something. So you had to eliminate something. I'm with you. Like as much as there's a bunch of Eastern New Mexico alumni who go to that game, and it's a big deal for the Greyhounds to come to the pit and play, I'm with you. I would have rather eliminated that game.
Or you can keep those games, and it would just take the place of, say, UC Irvine or UC Santa Barbara on your schedule.
And I think both of those are decent net games. Where they both top 125, right? UC Santa Barbara and UC Irvine. But I your point's understood. What are I honestly hadn't seen fan reaction. We're fans of this.
I think Lobo fans are ready to move on, and they're going to play the "we don't need you" card, and then New Mexico State fans are going to be like, okay, this is something that we said the same exact thing. You laughed at us 5 years ago, when people are saying that it's a rivalry. Fans don't like each other online. You're going to say a lot of mean things to each other, but it one that resonates. Like, that game would matter more on the schedule than trying to anticipate that, Ken Palm wise UC Irvine or UC Santa Barbara is going to be a top 125 team next year. If I'm just using, because those were the games that were the home games on the schedule last year,
right,
for the Lobos. So that's the type of opponent which you're going to be playing.
Yeah, I don't think UC Irvine or UC Santa Barbara hurts you, but to your point, and I think they're both going to be, well, they were both last year, certainly higher Ken Palm and net than New Mexico State, right? New Mexico State was really, really down last year, and you can understand why they were down. Their program shuttered the year prior. I'd like to believe New Mexico State will get back to being competitive again and being a top 100 RPI or top 100 net team. I don't know how long that will take. I know there's a lot of conversation about that, right? Again, do you want to play Texas Southern at home, but this year they get them at home, right? It'll be a home game. So instead of playing a road game at New Mexico State, they'll get a home game against Texas Southern or something like that. So they'll get another gate. Is kind of where this goes, right? For UNM, instead of playing the road game at New Mexico State, they'll get another home game, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're going to go on the road and play somebody that's going to make you happy. Have you seen their schedule? Do you have most of their schedule in front of you? I know it's not out, but I mean, do you have most of what they're doing? I know they're playing at Madison Square Garden. I got that home and home with VCU, right? Right? Not home and home this year, but one this year, one next year. Lobo fan, where are you? I'm really interested in how you're going to respond to this. Aggie fan, I'm listening to you as well. I understand change is hard, and I understand that there's change for a reason. I liked the home and home non-conference. Well, Jeff, nobody ever did it. It wasn't done anywhere else except for one. I know. And that's kind of what made this one different and kind of cool. It's one of the oldest. I think you guys cared. And by the way, when your non-conference schedule came out, almost every year it was the highlight, wasn't it? I mean, honestly, did you get fired up about the Louisiana Tech game? Did you get fired up about Texas Southern? All right, maybe UC Irvine did it for you. No, this is the one that really kind of got you going. And so I think it's a bummer. I understand why it's being done, but it sounds like you're on the same page. You're not there.
No, and if you look at the schedule that they played last year, and actually just took away 2 games because of the 20-game conference schedule. And you could have kept Irvine and Santa Barbara in those spots. You just wouldn't have had a quote-unquote easy game on the schedule. Which
was Texas Southern, is what you're saying?
Yes. So if you eliminated Texas Southern,
you probably would have eliminated
Eastern New Mexico.
Was Eastern New Mexico a game that it was? I guess that's a game.
Yeah, because they only played one.
Yeah. So they were both home games. So those were both home games. So if you're losing 2 home games and then you give up another one, right? The gate wise, you need those gates.
Well, you get one back from conference play.
Yeah, you do.
So you don't have to.
So you're only giving up one. Yeah, you're right.
So you could have kept the schedule as is. Because I don't think eliminating New Mexico State opens up.
I agree with
what they hope it is.
Unless they make it that. Unless they choose.
Well, you're gonna. It's the whole thing of, like, you're gonna have to go play someone there.
But
or go find another MTE where.
But are you? But you're gonna have to fill the spot. But are you gonna have to go play someone? Or are you gonna
to make it meaningful?
That's yeah. I agree with that. So what are you replacing that with? To your point, you take last year's schedule. Right? Let's just say you eliminate Eastern and JJ, I'm going to sit here and tell you people were complaining. What did we play in UT Arlington? And damn near UT Arlington almost beat you last year, right? But all right, let's just say you get rid of Texas Southern and Eastern. All right, and you replace those with the 2 league games, and then you take out one. So now you have one spot left because you're taking out the road game at New Mexico State, right? And that's what, the St. John's game? If you're going to tell me you replace it with St. John's, I'm listening to you. Okay. But yeah, if you make it something, if you go out and play somebody, I think people will be all right with it. This is interesting, man, because I know how much you love that game. I know how much fans love that game and those games every year. And you can tell me, well, look at the crowds. Well, sometimes down there, man, it's during Christmas break, during winter break. The students aren't there. Yeah, but we still fill our gym. Yeah, but you got 1 million people in this metro, and they got 60,000? I mean, there is a big difference. And I think you'll all acknowledge that. How do you feel about losing the second game? 505-246-0610 is how to get here today. Area code 505-246-0610. Emails. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. I'm still not. So are you acclimated with the new text line yet? All right, no text line until I tell you there's a text line. You can watch the show. ProView Networks is putting the show on. Adrian produces on our Facebook page, the OD and the AM, Comcast Channel 26, and on YouTube channel for ProView Networks. Want your thoughts on Lobos and Aggies going down to once a game, and former Lobo, Anaya Ogman, is packing up, getting ready to move back home, and she's not. She's staying here. She's staying in basketball. What's she doing? It's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
When you have sports mixed with your pop.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, Athletics.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services.
AC sent me an email this morning on the rivalry. It's Jeff, sports@WBQ.com. New Mexico State will play only once in basketball for the next few years, and evidently that's the plan moving forward. That 120-year rivalry, which the majority of those years they played home and home, although non-conference and although odd, was certainly something that made that rivalry unique, and fans loved it. AC says, good morning, Jeff. My thoughts on this is it is sad for the fans. One of the best basketball rivalries in the country. Unfortunately, the ever-changing landscape of college athletics and the chasing of money by mid-major programs to remain relevant takes precedence. Partially, look, everything's about money, right? Everything turns around to be about economics.
And this is usually a pretty good money game.
It is. I think, one of the things when I think the coaches who come in want to do this, most of them, right? And McCarthy and Bliss didn't, but most of the coaches since, I think Fraschilla wondered why we do it like this. Reggie Theus was really vocal about it. I think there were other coaches in here that I think didn't Alfred at one point mention it. But the passion of the fans and the tradition have kept it. And when the Mountain West Conference decided this year to expand their conference schedule from 18 to 20 and eliminate 2 non-conference opportunities, this felt like, where I'm sitting anyway, it seemed like the opportunity for them to say, all right, we have to do, we don't have room for it.
And now it's wait and see what you have room for.
Well, yeah, I think that's what everybody's going to be saying. What would you fill it with? And I think, New Mexico will already tell you, well, we filled it with going to Madison Square Garden. Now, you couldn't have done that otherwise. Of course you could have. But, yeah, look, can we be honest? The non-conference schedules, especially the non-conference home schedules, haven't been great the last couple of years, have they?
It's not something that... You can spin it numbers-wise, but there's also a certain point of, even in a passionate basketball fan base, like when you keep hitting them over the head with, it's 117 KenPom team, 110 net ranking team. It's like, okay, it's UC Irvine. Yeah. You're not getting as excited as, it's a New Mexico State game tonight.
Yeah,
Let's
it's UT
go.
Arlington. Yeah, UC Irvine's they're 85 net rank. Okay, fine. Give me 185 New Mexico State and I'll care. And there's something to that, because look, we talk so much about tradition around here. We do, right? And you can argue the tradition, the real tradition of these programs, but these are 2 proud programs. And a big part of their tradition is games against each other. So Kenny will be in here tomorrow. We'll kick it with Kenny Thomas. I wonder what he thinks. He played 2 games a year against New Mexico State and some classics. Some freaking classics. And whether you liked it or not, the game when they came in here and beat you in overtime 2 years ago and stomped on your logo, that was a classic. Classics aren't only when you win, right? But that was something else. You went down there and beat them by 40 something here and had to hold on and get that great Donovan Dent drive last year to go down and beat them there. And that was pretty great, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Lobo fan loves that, and Aggie fan loves that, and New Mexico basketball fan, and that's why it's a bummer. So, but it's going away. At least, well, it's not going away. The home and home is going away. All right, Anaya Ogman much better than I, and I know you really like Anaya Ogman. I think this is a cool story. I guess she was packing up and she was getting ready to go home, right? She's done playing basketball. She was done. And got a call from the new head girls basketball coach at the Albuquerque Academy, John Skarsgård. And she says, honestly, I was about ready to go home. I was packing up. And he reached out to me, letting me know he had something available. Wasn't my intention to start coaching, but I have a lot to give these girls, a lot of insight, so why not? Why not put it in the right place? And so she's going to be an assistant coach and director of player development for girls basketball at Albuquerque Academy. I can't tell you on how many levels I think this is great. First of all, I think it's great that we're keeping someone, and I know she's not from here, but we're keeping someone who's got so much to give here in Albuquerque. And good on you for reaching out, Coach Skarsgård, to realize that there's somebody who can offer so much. He's a new coach at the academy, and create something for her. And you can tell me, yeah, she's never coached before. You're right, man. This is what you talk about all the time. How do you get your experience?
Yeah, where do you get your experience from? And to go into high school athletics, it is going to be phenomenal having a confident composed young person around other young people. Like, that stuff matters when you're bridging gaps. I notice it in college a lot when you look around and kind of the dynamics of a coaching staff and kind of the hierarchy of coaching. It's really important.
Who's with the players all the time.
When you have those younger coaches, because they're around the players more than the head coach. And Ogman is going to be one of those people. Yeah, she's 21 years old, but she's still going to be able to be that figure that they look up to, but can help bridge the gap. And that stuff is super important, because when she was, the story I was reading, James Yotis on this, talking about, we'll see what director of player development means, but that's also just being there and building trust. And Nia Ogman is someone that always has a smile on her face. Unbelievable person, fantastic leader, and what she played through last year to finish the season on a bad knee to win Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year, that is a home run for the girls that get to work with her at the academy.
I love hearing that, because I don't know her nearly like you do, and I know what you thought of her and think of her, and I think that's great. I love the fact that John Skarsgård reached out to somebody in this community and thought out of the box. And obviously he knew her a little bit from working with her at ABC. But the fact that he reached out and offered her a job, and I don't know what Anaya was going to do other than, she said she was going home. I don't know if she had something set up. But to keep her in this community, and we talk about brain drain all the time, it's a talent drain, right? Some of our brain, and I'm guilty. My daughter's leaving to go to college. I get it. She may come back. She may not. I don't know what her future holds. And I feel there's part of me that it kills me, but part of me that I'm thrilled for, right? But we talk about in this community all the time, how do we keep some of our greatest, our best, our brightest home? And we got to present opportunities for them. We have to create opportunities for them. And good on John Skarsgård for reaching out or Josh Skarsgård. I keep saying John. It's Josh. Josh Skarsgård for reaching out and creating this opportunity. And I think it's a great opportunity for the girls there, but for Naya and for that program. And I'm stoked about it. I'm like when I saw this, I was like, yes. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I love it, because I think there was, coming off of last season and the disappointment in Las Vegas after finishing second for women's basketball, Mike Bradbury getting coach of the year, and then that abrupt ending, and then the transfers. There was giant questions of, is this a program issue? Do they not like being here? But then learning more about the stories and each person's decision, to see Anaya staying in Albuquerque, shows that, she did enjoy her time at the University of Mexico. She likes the city and she wants to invest in the future.
Yeah. Speaking of that roster, you're gonna need a pronunciation chart first of all, and you're gonna need to learn them all. So 4 more players that were recently signed. You get a transfer from Austin P, a senior transfer named Alyssa Hargrove. You get a transfer coming in from Wagner, 5'11" post, Drew Jordan, because Drew Gordon's a completely different person who played here. And then you're going to have to help me with Naili Padilla Chinea, who comes in. She's a combo guard from Spain, and Lily Hakkarainen.
Hey, Hakkarainen.
Maybe from Finland. All right, so you got a whole new roster, man. And they were all over the map. I mean, like not just the United States map. You have an international squad, and I again, I'll tell you, I have no idea, and I don't think you do, how good they're going to be. But I'm looking forward to watching this new version.
Finland, Spain, Mozambique, Germany. International exchange program, UNM basketball team.
Yeah, it's crazy, huh? I was looking and following this up. This is kind of cool to see where some of the players who left went. Jalen Bates went to Jacksonville. Hannah Robbins, the daughter of former Lobo men's basketball great Rob Robbins, is going to be at Montana State. Nia Wilson ended up in Missouri. Did you see that?
I have them all. I've been following it.
Yeah, and Paula Reyes at Loyola Marymount.
The only one that hasn't landed anywhere yet is Mackenzie Curtis.
Okay.
Sure she will. She's another awesome, just person,
Brand new roster over there. But again,
Paulo Reyes, Loyal Marymount.
Yeah.
What's your destination?
Loyal Marymount. All right, 505-246-0610. Let's get some NFL done for you. There's a whole lot of old dude talk and GOAT talk and Aaron Rodgers talk. I'm like, whoa, can we just tap the brakes on this 40-year-old dude coming back from Achilles? But obviously we cannot. And the 49ers signed one of their receivers, except for not one of those two. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Hour.
We're all moving a little.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children.
Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Download the KNML app in the Google Play or iTunes App Store. Just search KNML.
We're going to get this text line up. I registered. It's all brand new now. NFL camps open, OTAs. It's, they used to be optional team activities. I think now they're just organized team activities. I don't think they're very optional. 49ers did sign weather wide receivers. We're talking about Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, but they signed their other guy. Juwan Jennings was a restricted free agent. 2-year deal with the club announced yesterday, about $15.4 million with 10.5 guaranteed. 19 catches last year. Dude, a guy that caught 19 balls and 1 touchdown is getting $15.4 million. I mean, to be a decent receiver in the NFL these days is where to go, huh? I mean, that's more than really good frontline running backs are getting. That's more than first.
It's over 2 years.
Okay.
So $7.5 million per year.
Yeah. I mean, it's more. Well, I'm not telling you Zeke Elliott is a really good frontline running back, but he's the number 1 running back for the Dallas Cowboys, right?
Yes.
It's, I think, double what he's getting per year. He'll be their 3rd or 4th wide receiver.
If you sign him for 2 years, you trust him. He had 10 catches, 111 yards with a touchdown in the postseason. The touchdown came in the Super Bowl appearance on that run. It's when all right, you have a trusted guy that can step up and make plays. After this season, you're losing Ayuk or Deebo. You are, because you're paying Brock Purdy. So you're trying to establish the hierarchy behind who's going to be your wide receiver 1 moving forward. That's why I drafted Ricky Pearsall out of Florida in the 1st round. Get Juwan Jennings. So this is, hey, we know we can be good now, but you're also thinking 2 years out from now.
All right. I mean, everybody should get paid. You'll get your money. I'm good with it. Tell me why I'm struggling buying into this Rodgers talk. I'm listening. Will he be considered on that Brady and Mahomes shelf if he wins another Super Bowl? If he wins a Super Bowl with a second team coming off of this injury, will he be considered better than Manning? And I'm like, first of all, whatever. It's all subjective, and you're going to sing the song. Manning would have won a Super Bowl with 2 different teams. Manning also, because they're telling me, we'll throw the injury in there. I don't know. Wasn't that neck injury pretty serious?
Yes, it was.
I mean, I don't know what you consider a more serious injury, an Achilles or a neck injury where they thought he might never play again. But I'm listening to all this. Tell me why I'm struggling. First of all, I don't think they're going to be elite. I think they're going to be fine.
I can tell you why.
Tell me, because
you're tired of the Jets. And this is one where Aaron Rodgers, everything he does off the football field skews the way we feel about Aaron Rodgers, quarterback now.
All right, what do you do?
Just his podcast and his anti-vaxxing and his conspiracy theories about everything.
Yeah, but so why? I guess because it's May and June, we got to talk about the NFL, and so it's got to be him. And I imagine that's fine
because he is one of the biggest X factors in the NFL next year.
Okay, I agree with that. What is their ceiling? Is their ceiling the Super Bowl?
40-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles.
Yeah.
That an NFL franchise, and by the way, it's 2 NFL franchises, are saying we trust these guys immediately year 1 coming off Achilles, and we've never seen that.
Talking about Atlanta as well with Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins in Atlanta and a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. All right. He's the oldest player currently under contract to any NFL team, which I didn't realize. I didn't realize that. 20 years. What's their ceiling? The Jets. Is their ceiling the Super Bowl? If everything falls right, I mean, people love Breece Hall, who, by the way, is also coming off an injury. They've got good receivers. Garrett Wilson should be a stud. Their defense was really, really good. Like, everything in that whole franchise is on this year. Everything is on this year.
Ceiling?
Yeah.
AFC Championship game.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
On the cusp.
On the cusp of the Super Bowl. I think I can buy into that if everything goes right.
At this point, too, you're not asking Aaron Rodgers to be Josh Allen.
What do you ask
Joe
him to
Burrow.
be?
You're asking him to manage football games, not turn it over, score some touchdowns.
So he gets the ball out quickly, and he's got weapons, and I think can Nathaniel Hackett be creative enough? I was listening on the way in, Maggie and Perloff, and Maggie said her pick for MVP is Aaron Rodgers.
No way.
And I'm like, wow. Okay, I don't see it. It's a bold pick. I just, not only do I not think he it's not fair, but because the last time we saw him out, he was at the MVP level. I don't think they're going to ask him to play the role of an MVP. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. Like 3 years ago is a long time. We're talking about 40 years old and an Achilles injury.
Yeah.
It's not, he's coming off a thumb injury, 8-9 down season with the Packers. Because that was the last year in Green Bay.
Does the year off help him or hurt him?
And that, I can't say it helps him when the year off is due to an Achilles tear.
It's a year of not getting your ass kicked, which right? So is it better on your body or worse on your body?
Rehab, where the rest of your
right,
you're not going to be in the same physical shape.
Game shape. No, that's right. I'm going to guess at 40 years old.
Because you'll get the 2022 season.
Okay.
26 touchdowns. I think if you're the Jets, high 20s, you'd be feeling really good. 12 interceptions. And so that was the first time since 2010 Aaron Rodgers threw double-digit interceptions.
Which is pretty amazing. It really is. As much as he throws the football, it's pretty amazing. MVP to me, I mean, I'm not willing to lay that. I know you get great odds on it, and it's a great value, and it will pay. I just don't see it. I don't see them asking him to play that role, meaning he's got to carry him. I think they win games in the 20s because I think their defense is going to be really good. And everything says they want to rely on Breece Hall quite a bit and run the football. And to your point, he's going to get it quick and he may get big numbers. Ceiling, I mean, if everything goes great, people are telling me they can get to the Super Bowl. Really? So that means they got to get through Miami and Buffalo and Baltimore and Cincinnati and Cleveland and Houston. And, oh, by the way, Kansas City. Are they better than all those teams? Can they be by the end of the season? I don't see it. I don't, but there's always something that happens that I don't see.
Can they be better than Kansas City? I don't think so. Can they be better than
I don't think they can.
Cincinnati with a healthy Joe Burrow? If you're getting what you hope out of Rodgers, and that's just competent quarterback play.
Buffalo.
Yeah,
I mean, Baltimore. Baltimore.
Baltimore is that team too. It's.
I mean, who would you trust more in a playoff game, Baltimore or the Jets? Tough
the
one,
Jets.
Right? Probably right.
It's just. All right, it's
not
one of those
like
things. Like, why? It's like you look at Lamar and you're like, AFC Championship. That should be like no brainer.
That should be your thing, right?
But then that's also when you look at the AFC and you're like, oh well, then you have to overcome Josh Allen. Oh, then Burrow. What if this? What if that? So things are going to happen that we don't anticipate. Just like we saw last year with the amount of quarterback injuries. And I think for the Jets, the team that I'm worried about is Miami. Because I'm one that I believe that the Bills' offense can be fine because I think Josh Allen's that dude. And without having a true wide receiver one, it's like Stephon Diggs didn't have a 100-yard game after week 6 last year. And they were fine. And Keon Coleman is going to be fantastic as a rookie.
I think that's right.
So I trust Buffalo even moving forward without a true wide receiver one. Now the challenge is going to be looking at Miami.
All right. What about Kansas City? Boy, they got issues. And they continue to have issues. More and more issues. And they're off the field. What's the latest? I want to get into that. Like, what's going on there? It's kind of... you look at it and just go, what the heck? And why is it every week? International Protective Service could help them. International Protective Service continues to do amazing things. They heard you when you asked for help to protect businesses and homeowners in Santa Fe. Lots of local calls coming in for service up there. And if you live in the Santa Fe area and you're concerned about threats to your property, you can call IPS. In Albuquerque, response time is still hours, especially for home and business break-ins. In most cases, IPS is there within 7 minutes or less. They install alarms and camera systems. They monitor those cameras 24/7, raise the level of security around your home and business. And I know you've seen them at stores, Targets, Walmarts. They're making a huge difference for those stores. They can help you. They've helped me for years. When I travel, they come by a number of times a day, do exterior searches, make sure everything's secure, pick up packages that are left, UPS or whatever. They'll pick up your mail, your newspaper. Look, your home's supposed to be a place of security. And if someone breaks in, it's devastating for that sense of security, and you don't know when it's going to happen. So let IPS keep eyes on your home and business around the clock. 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420. They're online at ipsglobal.com. Passionate about making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better places to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Mavericks and Wolves game 5 in Minneapolis. 3-1 Mavericks. Trying to close that. What the hell's going on in Kansas City? Rashee Rice. You got Harrison Butker putting himself into the news, and now 2 misdemeanor warrants have been filed against Kansas City Chiefs defensive lineman Isaiah Buggs. This was in Alabama. Charges of cruelty to dogs in the 2nd degree. Court documents in saying that this is out of Tuscaloosa, the Tuscaloosa Police Report or Department received a report that 2 dogs were being left on the back porch of a home rented by Buggs. Officers in animal control found a gray and white pit bull and a black Rottweiler on a screened porch with no access to food or water. Both dogs appeared malnourished and neglected, and the residence appeared to be abandoned. This, according to the police report. They probably can't wait to get this camp open and get everybody like in a controlled environment because.
Well, they have been in camp. That's where Buggs was.
Is that right?
They're doing OTAs, yeah.
In Tuscaloosa?
I mean, that home was abandoned.
Oh, that's why. And he just left the dogs there?
Yeah. That's why neighbors are like, wait a second. Like, that's this bunch, like, it's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are the ultimate erasers. But still, at some point, if you're the Chiefs, you want to take a step back and be like, can we have some good team chemistry? Can we get some guys that are not getting in trouble every other week off the field?
What are we doing? So Buggs denies this. His agent is a guy named Trey Robinson. He denies the charges. He said that Buggs is a victim of an ongoing subversive campaign to force the closure of the hookah lounge he owns in Tuscaloosa. Quote, this is the agent of Isaiah Buggs. Under no circumstance does Mr. Buggs condone the mistreatment of any animal. The dogs at issue did not belong to him, and he was unaware they remained at the property in question. That is a quote. He said that Buggs was arrested at his hookah lounge on misdemeanor charges 2 separate occasions in the past 2 months. Each time, no public record was made of the arrest. The agent continues to say, so the theory here coming from the Buggs camp, the player, is that these people are trying to close down his hookah lounge. And so they're setting him up.
Hookah war going on?
Evidently, there's hookah wars going on in Tuscaloosa.
So they planted the dogs on an abandoned property that was connected
That was
Buggs.
to hit, yeah. That's what they're saying. He said the city of Tuscaloosa used the threat of pursuing and publicizing both the allegations filed today and these arrests as leverage against Mr. Buggs by offering to drop and not pursue them in exchange for his voluntary surrender of his business license.
Spicy.
It's a pretty good episode, right? The agent continues to say that Buggs, the player, declined the city's offer as he has serious concerns about the city's and police department's motivation for deciding to target his business, which he plans to bring to light as part of his defense of the allegations and charges filed against him and his reputation and his business. Damn, dude. So dude's got a hookah lounge, claims that there's the city trying to get him to close it, and wouldn't it be crazy if, that the city is the ones who planted these dogs back there?
City planting the dogs. They're like, oh yeah, we'll go check this out. Oh man, these dogs.
And then they found them
hungry,
malnourished.
no food or
And, we're going to go after that guy. And, all right, we won't press charges if you shut down your hookah.
Okay, that is a twist that no one saw coming.
I didn't. The headline reads, another Kansas City Chief player in trouble.
And you open it that way, and you're like, oh, Kansas City, what are you doing? And you get
going
there,
on?
and you're like, why would they ask him to do that? Business license and a hookah.
And look, that could just be a bunch of crap,
like
too.
Taboo in Tuscaloosa?
What? Hookah lounges?
But we don't do that. You're a hookah. We don't do that around here.
We could plant malnourished dogs, and that we're good with that. We're okay with mistreating dogs. But
can't have none of that hookah around here.
Or is there a competing hookah lounge? And look, his story could be as full of crap as the other side. One of them is lying.
They planted the dogs to shut down my hookah business.
That's the best defense I've heard, though, in a long time. Like, that's pretty creative writing, isn't it? Dude is arrested for mistreatment of animals. No, they weren't mine. They planted them there because they're trying to shut down my hookah lounge. Dang. I want to watch this. I mean, I think I know what happened with Rashee Rice.
Which is what
I'm pretty sure
went to Alabama.
Bugs did?
Yeah. So
maybe
he's an Auburn fan.
Somebody more important than him's got
that runs a
competing hookah lounge. I'm gonna look up hookah lounges in Tuscaloosa while we're gone. When we come back, holy smokes! You're responding to Lobo and Aggie basketball playing just once for the next 2 years. And is Utah moving conferences again? Where'd that rumor come from? They haven't played one game in their new conference yet, but are they moving? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM. An AM 670 Sports Out.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh? I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom. Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Knocking shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
All right, I think I got the text line going. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get back into it, but I should probably bookmark this. Figure out how to get here. They redid the whole thing. I got it done now. And I can read text 505-246-0610. You're talking about Lobos and Aggies playing just once in non-conference basketball moving forward. And look, this has been bandied about. This isn't something new. I think both schools have at whatever time, and I don't know who initiated this conversation, but I know both schools, both at the athletic director and coach level, have brought this up over time. But like this is not, I don't think, just about UNM, and New Mexico State will talk about it sometime maybe. But how do you feel about it? And this one says yes. NMSU was so great back in the day when all the good teams, both of their conference, and they were replaced with Dixie State, Seattle College, the Golden Kangaroos, and UTRGV. NMSU has always dragged the Lobos RPI way down. Good riddance. Okay, not always. Do you remember the years where Chris Jans was there and they were like 28-3 and they were a top 50 net and you weren't? I mean,
I am surprised by the amount of Lobo fans that don't want to play a rival. Like you're not supposed to like them, but aren't you supposed to want to play and beat them? And there's a lot that are like, good. Whew. Glad we got that one out of the way.
Yeah, all right. I mean, maybe that's how the fans will feel. Maybe that's it. I've only been around 28 years, since 28 seasons for this. So I'm kind of just learning this whole thing. But I've been to a lot of these games, and I've seen non-conference schedules over the years. And maybe last year was a wake-up call for you, right, in regards to schedule, the strength of schedule. I know that they're working on a number of big things or bigger things that are going to make you feel better about the non-conference schedule, right? And you have the 20-game conference schedule means they're playing earlier in December, and the non-conference schedule is more important. And how you surround those games with non-conference games is important. And where New Mexico State's program is right now, look, I think even Aggie fans would admit you guys are at a place where you're rebuilding that. But my sense always has been, and I get the sense because the building was always full, right? Even in years where you weren't filling the building was full for those games. The fan base gave a damn. It meant a lot.
Yes, because even in the down years, that's the game where like, oh, let's go get our rivals.
Right?
Let's go knock them off.
So, yeah. Jeff Alou, this is from Mike. I'd rather Lobo basketball play them twice instead of Santa Clara and Vegas, where you have to buy another package if you want to watch the game. Okay. I'm interested. Like, where are you on this? How do you feel about it? I'm going to tell you, and I understand why this has happened. I get the shift. The non-conference is way more important than it used to be. But even when you schedule a non-conference game, although, JJ, I'll give you this. You know, it used to be you were doing it 2-3 years in advance. They're putting schedules together now, so you should have an idea who you're playing. There's been plenty of times over the years, well, you scheduled whoever it is you thought was good, and they had a down year and they let you down on your strength of schedule. You have a little more control over that, although how the hell do you know how good anybody's going to be? Do you know how good St. John's going to be this year? Probably that's going to be.
Get a sense of some of the top teams, but still, when you look at the teams the Lobos have been filling out their schedule with, there's still a lot of hope because of the player movement it's crazy.
Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610. 505-246-0610. Stephen, good morning. You're on the Sports Zone.
Hey, good morning, guys. I think there's a couple of things at play here, and let's not pretend like NMSU has just had a down year. Like that program is in a downward spiral. You saw what happened at the end of the season. They had their season was a wreck, and then a lot of their players left. They're not bringing in great. They don't have a great NIL, where New Mexico has a really good NIL. They're bringing in good players. Our conference has gotten way better. I mean, we sent five teams to the tournament last year. So that's good for the net, and we're going to have to play those 2 extra games. I think all that has to come into play. I mean, there's no way that Eddie Nunez looked at NMSU and said, this is going to be good for our net over the next couple of years at least, because there's no way that it is. They're on the downward spiral. They don't have a good NIL. They're not bringing in great players. That has to be part of it. And you know what? This thing with the homicide a couple of years ago, that doesn't help. I mean, I agree. That puts a kind of a rotten kind of I don't know, just a taste of it is different now. That's kind of how I see it. I banter a lot with these NMSU fans and say it's our fault. Well, be better. That's all I got to say.
All right. No, I appreciate it. So a couple things. Are they on a downward spiral? I'm not willing to tell you that I believe their basketball program is on a downward spiral. I think their basketball program is down. And Jason Hooten had to come in and completely rebuild something that was burned to the ground, right? I mean, when you shut down in the middle of the season because of what happened down there, look, man, there's nothing good to say about it. There's no silver lining to it.
There's not.
And so, do I believe they'll come back? I want to believe that, JJ, but to his point, they could be on a spiral. I mean, do you think NMSU is going to come back to being the program they were, and if so, how long will it take?
No.
So you think they will not get back to that program?
No. But I don't think they're going to be a bottom feeder. And part of what makes these games work is you get that fired up about it. Like, you're not going to get that fired up about UT Arlington.
By the way, you loved beating them by 45 last year.
And that's part of a rivalry, too. Yeah. And I understand where he was coming from, but I don't think like that's going to be the difference of your season hinges on one extra game at New Mexico State.
No, it doesn't.
Because it's always about what you do. So your opportunities go down. So now you have 11 non-conference games to schedule and what looks like 6 home dates to fill on your non-conference schedule. So it is a bit more challenging. So I will wait and see. You can't have 100% judgment until you see what kind of schedule that the Lobos are able to put together. I do think it's a bummer because even when you run it down, you're like, they don't have NIL money. Their net ranking stinks. They're going to bring us down. If it's just another filler game, then what's the point?
And what are you replacing? I think that's, all right, so now you've got this extra spot, although you don't because you lost 2 non-conference games. So this year, for instance, you're not going down there. So instead of going to Las Cruces, what are you playing? To your point, what games are getting eliminated? Is it like the Eastern New Mexico and Texas Southern games? Because those are the games that didn't help you on your resume. And I think it was heard loud and clear what the NCAA Selection Committee said when they said New Mexico was a bid steal. Holy smokes, man. You were a top 25 team this year. But the bottom line is your non-conference schedule wasn't that impressive, and you didn't have a win that bolstered you up outside of conference. And you finished 6th in your league. Now, you got into the tournament, but you had to win your way in. So I think that woke everybody up, and that's why you're seeing what they're doing. That's why you're seeing it's VCU, right? They got the home and home. You're going to Madison Square Garden,
and they're
working on
using
a
your connections.
Yeah.
You know, Ryan Odom being at Utah State and then going to VCU. Look, he understands what it's like playing a game at the Pit, how good that game can be for his team and program, and so that was a great get for the Lobos.
As they should. Took another one on these. 505-246-0610. Oh, he mentioned something. He said, the shooting thing, which is now 3 years old or whatever it is. Do you think that still lingers? Because my feel is that really soured the relationships. The two athletic directors are still the same. Okay. And maybe when you have two different athletic directors, it might be different. The fan bases certainly retreated to their corners on that story. That became a look.
But if it was that big of a deal, why wouldn't it get to the point of we're not doing anything with them?
Well, because I think everybody realizes that's not. I think everybody realizes what that rivalry means to the fan base.
And it was.
And even if you're not from here, you don't want to eliminate. You don't want to be the guy who eliminates that completely. Right?
Yeah, right. And it was a situation, too, where we saw that entire team, top to bottom, cleared out.
All right, let's take the break. We'll get back to your calls. 505-246-0610. If you want to get in on this, I'd love your thoughts. 505-246-0610. I do have the text line up and going, which is good for everybody. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Meyer here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
my help? How about I drive you madman home, huh? I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom. Sweet? Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family.
News, JJ. Another receiver got paid. Have you seen that one? Yahoo Sports reporting Jalen Waddle, Miami Dolphins. 3-year extension with the Dolphins worth $84.75 million. 76 of it's guaranteed. What's 84.75 divided by 3? Like 84.75, and then I got to go million divided by 3. That's $28.2 million a year. Damn, receivers are getting paid. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta. JJ Buck. The number's 505-246-0610. Chad, thanks for holding. Good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Chad?
Hey, guys. Good morning. Not much to talk about with the schedule. You guys have kind of already gone through that. But I'm just really excited about this team next year after seeing all of the we got some nice players in the transfer portal. I think that have some strong upside. We have some great length with the team this year. I think there's like 5 or 6 guys that are 6'9" or 6'10", 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", on the team. The last guy we just got from, I think it was Georgia Tech, he's 6'6" and 225, so he brings some size. And I like that. I like that last piece because that was one of the things, a little of Achilles heel when we were playing some bigger teams that were pushing us around down, on the inside. So I'm really psyched. And then you throw in like the freshmen that we got coming in, as Coach Pitino always seems to get some really quality freshmen, and he's still able to attract quite a team. Just despite the fact that we're not from one of the premier conferences, and that just bodes well for him and his staff and the relationships he's building. And I love it.
Yep.
I'm excited.
That's good, Chad. I appreciate the call. Don't be a stranger. Thank you for that. I like what's come in. JJ, you and I have talked about this a lot. As opposed to talking about what you lost in the portal. Let's see what you get. I am a firm believer that UNM basketball has benefited exponentially more than they've lost in transfer portal. Now, that's not to diminish or downplay who JT Toppin is. JT Toppin he's a really, really good player, and it's a bummer to lose him. But a guy makes a decision, you go on. And on paper, from what I've seen and from what I've read in the reviews, and I'm not going to pretend I've seen all these guys play, but it feels like this.
Well, you haven't got a chance to see half of them play because someone didn't.
Right.
So, and this is, you're right to a certain extent, but this is also a new era where the Lobos were able to be the beneficiary for so long. Now they're going to be challenged for their talent like they never were before. And so that's going to be the continuation of the balance of building rosters, of bringing freshmen in that you hope can stick around. Donovan Dent is a great example of a player you've been able to keep and build with, and then pair the right transfer talent with him. Rich Pitino and his staff, along with the collective that have at the University of Mexico, has done a fantastic job.
Look, You're right. It is the new era, and you're going to have to re-recruit. But I think you've made yourself a really attractive place for people in the portal. And if players, when they're in the portal and they look at the success, first of all, they love the environment. And so fans have played a big part. And then Richard's brought a team back to being what they are. But players want to play in this. And when you say, all right, you got to transfer from BYU, which is Big 12, Arizona Pac-12, which is now Big 12, Georgia Tech, which is the ACC. In years past, you got a guy from Dayton, Arizona State, Minnesota, Wichita State. And players have come here and had success and gone on to do whatever they've done afterwards. I think you've created yourself as a destination. And as much as we see guys going from Mountain West to Power Conference, you see every roster in this league is filled with guys who have come from Power Conference to Mountain West. And so if you make yourself attractive, as Nevada has, as San Diego State has, Colorado State seems to have, that, JJ, that's how this league's going to be. This league has been both football and basketball. Look at where Fresno State quarterbacks come from over the last decade, right? They're all getting Power Conference transfers in. Football and basketball, it hasn't been completely, but there have been really high-profile transfers who have come in. And you're right. You're going to lose dudes, and San Diego State has, and Nevada has. Everybody, that's just how it is. But, by the way, dudes transferred out of Kentucky and Arkansas and Louisville and North Carolina. Everybody's losing players. That's just the way it is. If you can benefit, yeah, you're going to lose dudes, man. And some years it's going to hurt. But from what I see, when I look at like Borovichinen, and I look at what I think Kaide Dotson is, and Milicevic is coming in as a freshman, and I think Sacco's good, and Atiki sounds like, I mean, I like the promise. Let me see when they come down the ramp. But history has told me, and certainly with this coach, that you're doing pretty well on the indoor of the portal. Yeah, it sucks to lose a couple of dudes going out, but I think that's just the way it is. Where are you going, right? I mean, like, you're going to watch Jamal Mashburn next year, right? You're just, and I think Global Fan will root for Jamal Mashburn, don't you think?
Probably more than Toppin.
Probably more than Toppin. By the way, and I think Jamal Mashburn is going to have a terrific year. And I wouldn't doubt he's, by the end of the year, first team All-American. Like all AAC, not All-America. All first team, AAC. All AAC, American Athletic Conference. You think, I mean, I'm way off on that? He didn't forget how to play, dude. I really believe he was hurt last year. You with me on that he was hurt more than he let on?
Yeah, when you have an injury to your shooting hand and you have a poor shooting year, 1 + 1 = 2.
And then you just go down with all the other stuff. I mean, look, the American, that's a big league. I guess sometimes I forget how many teams are in that league, too. North Texas, with a really good basketball. I mean, Florida Atlantic is going to be interesting to see how they respond. Memphis is always really good. SMU's leaving. Wichita State will be good. Rice, UTSA. I mean, he's got an opportunity to be first team all-league there. And I think he's going to be terrific for them. Temple was just 16-20 this year. Changed coaches. But I think he's in a great spot. All right, 505-246-0610. Emails today, jeff@sportsanimалabq.com and jj@sportsanimалabq.com. And on the Twitter, it's _JJ Buck. Breaking news this morning, Jalen Waddle signs a extension. 3 years, $84.75 million with the Miami Dolphins. We're talking about Lobos and Aggies playing each other just once a year in basketball. And when we come back, dude gets ejected and says, I play for the worst effing team in baseball. It's a pretty good meltdown by this young man. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Out.
For more
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burkia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
On 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
How to lose your job 101. I mean, there's a couple of easy ways, right? Tell the boss to bleep off. Don't show up. Do something stupid. I mean, there's a couple of ways. The New York Mets reliever Jorge Lopez gave you a pretty good example of it yesterday. It's the opening drive. Jeff Sabieta, J.J. Buck. Jorge Lopez was thrown out of the game yesterday by the third place opening. He got into it with the third base umpire in a game against the Dodgers. The Mets are not very good. And so after the game, Lopez, he gets thrown out, not even after the game, untucks his shirt, throws his glove into the stand. Pretty good souvenir for a fan. And then he ripped the Mets as being his team, the worst bleeping team in Major League Baseball. Mets released him this morning. Did you watch this? Both the radio and the TV broadcasts, JJ, they're like, somebody just got thrown out. So somebody, who was it? They didn't know who it was. Oh, it's Lopez. And then he loses his junk. He was asked about the dispute between him and the third place umpire. Quote, just something out of emotions. I just don't give a bleep about anything. End quote. That's released this morning. It was one of the most unprovoked, I thought, tirades. How he got into it with the third base umpire. Dude just came into the game. They lose 10-3. Dodgers scored 6 times off 3 relievers. One of them was him. He gave up a 2-run home run to Ohtani. Then he fell behind 3-1 to Freddie Freeman. He took issue with the third base umpire, Ramon De Jesus. It was a ruling on a check swing. That's how he got into it with a third base umpire. And then got ejected. I've seen a lot of, and I'm not going to tell you this is the craziest one I've ever seen, but it was one of the most seemingly innocuous ones. And for a dude to lose his job, like the Mets are like, yeah, we're done. We're either trading him or we're releasing him. He's not coming back. We cut him. It's a pretty good rant, dude. Did you see it?
I like how they asked him to clarify, too, on if it's the worst bleeping MLB team or if he just said he was the worst bleeping teammate. And it's like they both work. Like, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
and he was asked, yeah, do you want to take it back? He's like, no, I'm good with it. Yeah.
Like, you saw a human being reach his breaking point yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, you never know what's going on with people. And so I don't know this dude. I don't know anything about this guy other than what he's doing. But he was asked, did you call the Mets the worst team in the majors? Yeah, probably. Were you embarrassed? Yeah, no. He's 31 years old. I mean, like, I don't know. You got a pretty good job in the big leagues. But that's right there. How go out and get yourself fired? It's kind of it, isn't it, right there? Holy smokes. All right, 505-246-0610. Your emails come in this morning at Jeff@sportsanimalabq.com and JJ@sportsanimalabq.com. I do have the text line up and going. We've been talking about Lobos and Aggies playing just once a year in basketball. One and done. I wanted to hit this. So the Utah rumor, and Brett McMurphy of Action Sports kind of got onto this. Utah joined the four corner schools. That would be Colorado, Utah, Arizona, Arizona State. In leaving the Pac-12 and going to the Big 12 starting this year. And there's been all this swirl that Utah is going to go to the ACC, which has gotten San Diego State and Fresno State fan really excited by it. Because now they think, well, the ACC is coming out west and we're going to get in. Because Florida State and Clemson are going to leave the ACC, and at some point North Carolina and Virginia are going to leave the ACC, and somehow...
So that makes it better for you to be in it.
Anything but the Mountain West will happen, right? And so, so now you'll be in a league with Georgia Tech and maybe Miami and North Carolina State, and that'll be way better for them. That somehow is going to be way better. Statement from Utah Athletics regarding the rumors. Quote, "We are proud to be entering into membership of the Big 12 Conference in the coming months and excited to join our new colleagues and member institutions. A report over the weekend that suggested otherwise is completely fabricated and irresponsible," end quote. It didn't say hell no. It didn't say it's not. Well, I guess it says it's fabricated. The report is. I don't know, man. There's a lot of smoke around this one.
And I don't understand this smoke. The ACC has their top two schools, football-wise, one out.
Well, but
they're done with that.
Big 12 just lost their top two. But you knew what you were getting into when Texas and Oklahoma left. Right?
And it's okay. And so to your point, you go into a league if Clemson and Florida State are not there, and it's North Carolina, Duke, NC State. That's not better than the Big 12.
I agree
and
with
it
you.
adds
Nor is
to
it
your
more
travel
regional.
expenses
Right.
for everything. And if everyone is complaining about expenses, then why are you trying to go the furthest distance possible to play games?
Quote again, this is their athletic director. About the rumors. Actually, this is their athletic director. Oh, yeah, we're proud to be entering. I gave you that one. Everything over the last 24 hours has rebuked this. That saying what you're saying, it makes no sense. Why would they go there? What are we doing? The ACC is facing lawsuits from its two most successful programs, Clemson and Florida State. And it looks like they're going to leave. Just, is the grass always greener? I guess you always listen, right? If someone comes and calls and says, hey, what do you think about this? How did Utah become a darling? And where did this start? Did the ACC, do you think their ACC is genuinely courting Utah? Because I'm not sure I do think that.
Sure, I think a lot of it is fishing. Throwing a reel out there, kind of reeling it back because of the uncertain landscape at the top, and you always have to be ready for what could be next.
Well, they have Stanford and Cal. The thought process is
just join Stanford and Cal and come on over.
Stanford, Cal, if Utah and the Arizona schools go, and San Diego State and Fresno State, you got a 7. Oh, and maybe Colorado State, you got an 8-team Western Conference or Western Division in the ACC, right? I mean, that's look. If you listen to all those fan bases right now, think that's their lifeline. That somehow they're getting into a quote unquote P4 conference. I see you smiling, just going, yeah, keep thinking about it. Remember the Big East? Remember how you were going to that? Remember you were going to the Pac-12? I know.
At some point, too, I wonder how, the ACC, they're locked into a lot of stuff for a while, so they're not renegotiating.
Grant of rights.
So do you think that you're going to go in there, and if the lawsuits go through for Florida State and Clemson to blow it up for everyone. In renegotiating, it's more money is better money. I think at some point though, it's just take a step back. And there's no way I want to be on cross country flights every other week for my conference games.
And again, football's one thing. You consider where Utah is. I mean, it's a short.
And then you get to a certain point. It's like, all right, if you're playing just straight up divisions,
then why be in that league? I agree with you on that. Then why did we break up the Pac-12? No, I can't agree with you more. I listened to it initially and I'm like, all right, where's this going? And does everybody need to be concerned? Because you've got San Diego State, Colorado State, Boise State, and I think Fresno State and UNLV are all thinking they're looking for a lifeline, right? They think that they're somehow going to get salvaged. And I think everything's up in the air. I don't. Do you think we've seen the last in this round of realignment?
I am at a point where I don't think anything is ever done or settled college athletics.
Yeah. Yep. And both, at the power level and at the mid-major level. I mean, look at what's happened to the WAC. WAC's basically done, right? But this one was interesting to me with this rumor and the way this whole thing went down. All right, we get hoops tonight, Mavs and Timberwolves. And where's that going? Jimmy Butler is on the market. Or is he? Miami's got to make a big decision. There's one team who said, we'll pay him all he wants right now. Who's that team and what would that look like? I think it could be pretty big. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Center.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need at the prices you want.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast
first time, every
possible.
time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro V. From pros to pros. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
For a limited time at Blake's Lotaburger.
If you're drunk, classic, intoxicate, tip, plastering.
Make your stop at home.
I was born in Mexico. I grew up on the street. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Murcia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my brains, tenacity, and energy to fight them. I'm at hope, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athlete.
JJ Redick wants to coach and is upfront about that. He's on the short list of prospective candidates.
Weekdays at 10 on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
I'm Rob Brown, here to help you beat the books with BetQL. The Mavericks came up short.
What's going on, Little Nation? The Corey crossing mirror, and I'm Devin Dampier. The local football team going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in work on the field and the weight room, but we'll need straight off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
Try to shit better than on my
When you hear about our driver, motorcycle wrangler, we'll take you for rent to check. And we'll help you with all the details in between. We'll help you get to the right doctors, even if you won't have it. We'll help you get your doctor. And we'll fight with your insurance to get you every dollar you need. Call
You want it right today, get it done the Daniels way. Daniels, plumbing, heating, and air.
TJ Trout here.
These days, it's important to know people in business you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle. There's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at FiestaKia.com.
Air Mist.
Teenagers love a party, especially when prom and
Febreze Air
graduation.
Mist scents.
Often alcohol is involved.
Anywhere
Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's
So
wrong.
not only does my home smell good,
As a parent, to allow your teenagers underage friends to consume alcohol in your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a
If you
party.
need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Posters, flyers, signs, and menus for less? Think Staples. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. Now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Same-day service available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. And all backed by Staples Print Perfect guarantee. So it's done right or it's printed again. Free. Staples, your local print and marketing expert. And 610staples.com/free.
You installed an alarm and put up security cameras. You think it's enough? That's got Staples. Home and business owners are frustrated and angry about constant break-ins. Winter Door Sales and Security installs rolling shutters and steel mesh screens over your windows and doors. They stand up to a baseball bat and hurricane-force winds. Take control of the Courier Vic. Call 345-6604 or visit winterdoorsales.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. You think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare? You need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started Wesley Financial Group. Help people cancel timeshare. Buy a timeshare. Timeshare company pays your annual maintenance fee security. I'm recently helping folks that have the maintenance fee of $800. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
The deal keeping Jennings in San Francisco through the 2025 season. Tariq Cohen has found a new home. The Jets signed the running back and return specialist to a one-year deal. Cohen missed the past 3 seasons due to injuries, but head coach Robert Saleh thinks he can have a big impact under the new kickoff rules. Ravens tight end Mark
Your surprisingly great race?
more to
Contact your local State Farm agent today.
with him and Isaiah
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Create mismatches
Like a good
all
neighbor.
over the field.
State Farm.
And Saint Swiss Army knife Taysom Hill
Hey,
has
look,
been all
it's
over
Dwight
the
Gooden.
this
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you that man home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need lights help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all in there.
Drive safe, Dwight.
That is 4 missed meals away from
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations. Or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of Rogue Sports.
For a limited time, save $200.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You're not ready if it's not Ready Hour Food. My Patriot Supply also has solar-powered
International Protective
water
Services
filtration
is a
units,
proud
biomass
supporter of
stoves,
Sports
heirloom
and
seeds,
Mexico
and
Youth
critical
Athletics.
survival gear.
Shop MyPatriotSupply.com today. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Are you
in Albuquerque area? Don't do that.
Come on, bro. The Jim Rome Show.
Please call 505-897-2420.
You just didn't get any hoops. The first time in a long time. Mavs and Wolves game 5. It'll be in Minneapolis. Talking about that Utah thing, like the more I think about it, I just read a bunch of stuff during the break. But look, if Florida State and Clemson leave, and I think that's what everybody thinks is going to happen, right? I don't know where Florida State and Clemson are going. They think they're going to the SEC and or the Big Ten, and I haven't heard big overtures there. But then probably Carolina and Virginia want out too. So what's the ACC at that point? It's Syracuse and Georgia Tech and Pitt, North Carolina State, Virginia Tech, right? I mean, it's nice. I know, like, people like Fresno think they're in. I think Fresno State's a long way away from getting that invite, although they think because of their football success, they're in. But if the ACC loses 2 or 3 or 4 of these schools, they're going to have a whole lot less money to distribute financially. Their percentage is going to go down. Everything will get altered with those schools. Now, I know there's the ACC network, and ESPN runs the ACC network, and that's a big deal. And there's a whole lot, well, ESPN wants this. I don't know that to be true or not true. I do know that Cal and Stanford are sitting out on an island. SMU somewhat bridged the gap, but still a long way from Dallas to the Bay Area. Still, what, a 3-hour flight? Still a long way for all your teams to go. We'll see, man. I just don't know that I think anything's done. That's all. 505-246-0610. That's how to get here. 505-246-0610. Emails Jeff at Sports Animal. I don't even know what this is. Killing me, Buck. Breaking point? What did you say breaking point on something?
With the Lopez incident.
Oh, yeah.
So a human at his breaking point.
I think that was. I mean, I don't know. Sure looked like it. I mean, he gave up a home run to Ohtani, then he doesn't like a call on a check swing.
No problem with getting ejected, launching a glove, and then just sitting there post game. And this is the worst bleeping team I've ever been on.
Oh, and basically taking a lighter to your career.
Or did you say you were a bad teammate? And he's just like, whatever. Use what you want.
I don't give a bleep about anything, right? It's like you just basically took a lighter to your career. I mean, first of all, you're not good enough to be that guy. You know what I mean? You're just not good enough to be that guy in the clubhouse to go light the whole place on fire. You're just not. All right. Dan says, he says, I think they would bleep their pants, Jeffrey. Yesterday, Juan Jose said everyone that listens to the OD should know many Lobo athletes are now making more money than the guys for the Gladiators United and every isotope unless you're Chris Bryant or a high prospect. While the OD's reach is mighty, I still don't think that info is widely known among fans, students, or professors. If it was, I think there would be a collective bleep of pants on campus. Pooping of their pants. Dan, I think, yeah, you're right. Most people probably, I mean, anybody who covers, who's a sports fan and kind of understands, I think at this point you understand that a number of Lobo athletes, basketball players, will be making more than than every Gladiator, every United, and almost every Isotopes player. That the college players in your market, and this is just the way it's going to be, are going to be making more than non-major league sport pros. Meaning, I'm trying to be sensitive to my language here.
I also
minor league
why
sports.
I said listeners.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. Talking about the specific conversation. I wasn't referencing everyone.
Yeah. JJ's dead on, though. Look, is it, if you listen to this radio station, if you watch sports, is it surprise you that Donovan Dent, listen, I don't know who the highest NIL guy on the Lobos will be next year, but listen, Donovan Dent's going to make more money next year than anybody who plays for the Gladiators or United or Isotopes, except for really high prospects for Isotopes or guys who are sent down. Now, if I had said that to you 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you're like, what are you talking about?
You said that 4 years ago. I'm like, oh, someone's getting in trouble.
Yeah. Somebody's getting a lot of envelopes under the table. Now, what did Barry Switzer tell me NIL stands for? Now it's legal? NIL? Yeah, now it's legal, and that shouldn't surprise you, Dan. I don't think anybody's surprised. Did I read you this one? Jason and Jerome's guys, Jeff Lou, I'd rather Global Basketball play the Aggies twice instead of playing Santa Clara and Vegas where I have to buy another package to watch the game. All right, 505-246-0610 if you want to get in today. Come on in. 505-246-0610. We'll pay him now. Who's going to pay Jimmy Butler or who wants to? As we get ready for Game 5 of the Western Conference Final tonight. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Analyst.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
So we begin hour 3 today with the latest installment of Golf is Really Hard. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. I don't know if you know this. Probably you don't, but you know the name. Women's golf has the U.S. Open this week. They're playing the U.S. Open. It's obviously one of the biggest tournaments in women's golf. You probably know one name right now in women's golf, Nelly Korda. Is that probably about right? Which is fair. But we're well aware of Nelly Korda, who's on that, had the tremendous win streak, number one player in the world. JJ, she started on the back nine today. I don't think she's going to make the cut. You know, they say you can't win a tournament on Thursday, but you can lose it. The number one player in the world, and she has been dominant. Clear favorite to win the U.S. Open. She opened up on a par 3. I guess this wasn't her first one. 161 par 3, 12th hole. So it was her third hole. JJ on this par 3, 161 yards. The best women's player in the world made a 10. 3 balls in the water. 3 balls in the creek. And the first one cleared the creek, but somehow went backwards. Stunning start. So if you bet Nelly Korda, you're I don't know that she's going to make the cut. That just shows you how hard this damn game is. 161-yard par 3. You ever look at one of those holes? That's 150 yards out. It'd take me 6 to get down from here, but it did. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, 505-246-0610. All right, we get hoops tonight. Mavs and Wolves. It'll be in Minneapolis. Timberwolves trying to stay alive. They're down 3-1, and if they do win, then Anthony Edwards can bring those size 14 AE2s back to Dallas and gift them.
Have them ready for Micah Parsons
and gift to them the size 14s. There's a lot of off-season stories starting because all but 3 teams are now in their off-season. One of the big ones is Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler is the Heat star who was not available for the playoffs. Pat Riley, the Heat's general manager and president, talked a lot about, how are we supposed to extend this guy and max him if he's not available, and it was there. So the Philadelphia 76ers are saying, man, we'll pay him. We'll pay him now. Do they want to move him? Sixers have about $65 million in cap space. It's enough to add a max player. They're interested in a sign and trade. They'd love to have Paul George. By the way, the Clippers evidently haven't offered Paul George more than a 3-year. I feel bad, JJ. They've only offered him 3 years at $152 million. If he hits unrestricted free agency, he can get 4 years at $212 million. I mean, the numbers are obscene. First off, on the Butler thing, I don't think Miami's going to max him. I just have that feeling. You could have one or the other. You're Philly. You want Paul George or you want Jimmy Butler? Who are you going hard for? It's a good one, right? Because they both bring you something. You get playoff Jimmy and he's legit. You get regular season Paul George. He's terrific and he can be good in the postseason.
Playoff Paul George has been just as good.
He's been good. Yeah.
Now, not finals good, but there's not a question of this dude doesn't show up in the postseason.
Right.
So here, if I'm Philadelphia, I need Jimmy Butler to push Joel Embiid over the top.
So you need the personality.
Because they've been there, and then they realized, oh, we missed. Yeah. Like, Jimmy Butler's a dude we should have kept around and had that edge on the team. But if I'm investing, I'm going Paul George. Because Jimmy Butler turns 36 this season.
So what do you do? I mean,
and I'm not giving that to you $200 million.
So I don't think anybody is. I just don't know.
Miami's not. And Pat Riley made that note.
I don't know who is. And as much as Philly says right now we would do it, I think the answer is Paul George, right? He's younger. He's And I don't know. They're both hurt quite a bit too.
Not Paul George is put.
He played this year. He hasn't been hurt
not
ever since
like
that knee injury.
Well, ever since when he snapped his leg in half playing for Team USA. That was a while ago now.
No, he did that. Remember how that happened?
On the stanchion.
On the stanchion.
Like Paul George is living off a bad narrative now.
Or just because he hasn't won.
Haven't been paying
just
attention.
because he hasn't won. He's played really well.
He's been better than Kawhi Leonard for the Clippers.
I think that's right. I think that is right. He's been more reliable and he's been better than Kawhi Leonard for the Clippers. I think that's right. I do. All right. CBS.
Now it's so here's sorry. Now it's not. You're not getting a much younger player in Paul George. So
What's
it's
he,
a year.
34? Is that what he is?
Yeah, but what you're looking at is more recent consistency of being available, and that's what kind of has Pat Riley in Miami soured. So I actually think what happens with Jimmy Butler, unless Philadelphia, who knows what assets they have, because it's not going to be players because they have the cap room, so you don't need to trade players. And there's no one. If I'm sitting there, if you're Miami, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, give us Tyrese Maxey, and then if you're Philadelphia, you're going, no, that doesn't help us. If you just want out of the contract, if you're Miami, you can just take back some future draft capital. But I think what happens is Jimmy Butler opts into his player option next year for $52 million, and then he's a free agent after the season. That's the way Miami wants it to play out, but Jimmy Butler's going to want that last contract extension of his career.
I think that all sounds pretty feasible. All right, I want to hit this. CBS put out a story today, James Herbert at CBS. And he talked about all the injuries in the NBA. And look, we've gone through this. Every team, it seems like, except for the two teams in the West. Well, no, that's not even true because Lively's out and Maxi Kleber's been out, and there's been injuries there. You look at the star players who have been out in the playoffs. Zion Williamson did in the play-in. Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, Damian Lillard, Kristaps Porzingis, OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, just keep going, right? Are the changes that the NBA made responsible for all these injuries? Now, I would argue with you, JG, before we even get into this, that there are injuries every year in the playoffs. And when you get into this every other day after an 82-game season, you have everybody's got injuries. Every championship is talked about, well, if this guy wasn't hurt, they wouldn't have won. Yeah, but that's how it is. Do you agree with that? Before we get into kind of what happened this year, that every year there's injuries in the playoffs?
People get hurt playing sports.
Okay. The story talks about the PPP, the player participation policy, which introduced that new 65-game minimum for end-of-season eligibility. It talks about the NBA Cup, the in-season tournament, and the compressed schedule. So the 82 games weren't distributed evenly. The tournament made scheduling difficult. The league released the schedule last summer. Each team had 80 games on it, not the full 82, and there were 0 games scheduled December 3 to 10. So the games were added most of those days, but it remained empty, and it was condensed the second half of the season, or more compressed, right? More back-to-backs, less days off than any non-COVID schedule. So Sam Presti, the GM of the Thunder, says you got players playing more early on for incentive, but in the back half of the schedule, every team had a schedule like this, but we had 17 games in a month. We had 5 back-to-backs in that month because there's just no room for the schedule. That was his quote. So they're pointing that out. The officiating changes, how officials called less fouls down the stretch and let it be more, I don't know, player-centric, less whistles. Do you buy into all these schedule changes having a major effect on all these players going down?
No.
I'm not sure I do.
They're asking to play 65 games of 82.
I know.
And here's the thing. If you want it...
By the way, you're making $60 million a year.
Yeah, and I don't think it's bad that you're asking hey, if you want to be the league MVP, you can't just play 50 games. If you want to be all NBA first team, you can't just play 55 games.
Feels right. I agree with you.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Now, if you rush yourself back, that's on you. That's your decision. Oh, I got to be first team. I got to be an MVP. And you get hurt again, that's on you. Like Tyrese Halliburton's been complaining all season. Well, if you didn't feel ready, it's not the NBA's fault. You wanted to come back and play, and you got hurt.
And by the way, you came back simply for money. Like you came back simply to hit incentives so you could get paid more. And some years you're going to be injured. You're not going to hit the threshold. You're just not. But it's not too much to say, hey, you got to go to work.
65 of 82 games.
If you want to, your job, if you want to qualify for a bonus at the end of the year, I'm going to guess you got to go to work. And there's minimums that you have to hit. Thresholds of not only just showing up, but whether it's a sales bonus or retention, whatever it is. It's not too much to say you got to hit 65 out of 82. It's just not. And your point is dead on. If you rushed yourself back simply to qualify for incentive-based bonuses, that's on you, dude. At some point, some years, you're just not going to, you're going to have to settle for the $45 million instead of the $50 million. I don't know how you're going to live on it, but and I get it. It's not my money. It's not right for me to talk about anybody else's money. But if that's the reason, then it's somewhat on you. The other part of it is, man, injuries happen. But so many of them, JJ, have been non-contact injuries, right? Giannis's calf, Kawhi going down, just so many of them. But I think that happens anyway. And I don't know the answer. I honestly, I'm not going to pretend to play doctor or physical therapist or trainer. Why so many non-contact? I mean, I don't know. Aaron Rodgers happened at the very first game of the year, 4 snaps in. Is it because he worked out too much in the offseason or didn't work it out enough in the offseason? You know what I'm saying? Non-contact stuff happens. Well, he's 40 years old, Jeff. I know. But we always got to blame something, don't we? There's always got to be somebody or something to blame, as opposed to bleep happens sometimes. Sometimes a dude pops his hamstring. Sometimes a guy's calf or he rolls his ankle. You've done it. You sneezed and hurt your back the other day. I know you're laughing at me. Yeah, I did, Jeff. Yeah. Whose fault was that? Sometimes it happens. I'm reading through this whole column and I'm not sure I buy it, dude. I want to protect the players. All right, I know you do. But the PPP rule.
Like, they've done a lot with trying to limit back-to-backs, and that's understandable in sport. Like, you want your best product out there. You don't want to be on a plane all overnight and then ask people to perform whatever you're doing. Like, there's going to be some of those, but they've extended the schedule. They've limited that. The in-season tournament stuff, like, you lose and you move on. Like, it's just a few extra games that are rolled in. It's nothing crazy because those are still regular season games that they just say, hey, this is part of playing for an in-season tournament. And to me, what they've done is what players want. Players want to play. But if you are hurt and need to rest, guess what? Rest. And you might miss out on something, but then don't complain when you rush yourself back if you're not ready and you get hurt again. That's your choice.
Players back in the day, did they complain about playing an 82-game schedule and flying commercial? And I mean, they played, right? They just played. And then load management became a thing. You're a professional athlete. What is your job? Play basketball, right?
And if you need to manage things, they give you that room to manage it.
They do. And then you get half the year off, or quarter, or 30, whatever. How deep you go in the playoffs. And you get your body back in shape. And yeah look, I'm not telling you it's easy.
No, but that's with anything. It's you in this window as a pro athlete. You're maximizing yourself. You're putting in the work 365 days a year to be able to do that.
And
they've, to me, I don't think these leagues have done a poor job of neglecting players. Like, yeah, you look at the NFL, they're like, oh, well, we're going to add another game. Get another bye week. It all comes down to, in the end, are you fairly compensated for what they're asking you to do? And the answer is yes.
And the answer is absolutely. It's 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive. A 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Hour.
Telling it like it is.
A lot of stars threaten to leave L.A.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom!
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
This, says Ken. Jeff, OD callers did predict this. Who said let's wait until all the facts come out in the Scotty Scheffler case, because if you jump to conclusions like some of the media, garage door pulls become nuisance. Charges were dropped yesterday against the number one golfer in the world in Kentucky, Scotty Scheffler. And he says, quote, I hold no ill will towards Officer Gillis. I wish to put the incident behind me and move on, and I hope he will do the same. And then he continued, police officers have a difficult job. I hold them in high regard. This was a severe miscommunication in a chaotic situation. End quote. Dude, he could be bitter. His lawyer said and he probably could have sued the city. He said, I don't want the taxpayers. I don't want their money. I don't want them to have to pay.
I think that was part of the negotiating.
It was for them to drop the charges. That was part of the agreement. We'll drop the charges. You don't sue us. And I think by all accounts, if they would have tried this thing, he would have been found not guilty, and then he could have sued the city. And many people would have. But like he said, I don't need their money. I don't want their money. I have no ill will. This was, we talked about. I remember that day. Remember that Friday? How crazy that was. It was just surreal. And it reeked of overzealous cop. And if you hear the video now, you hear him saying, "You're right. I should have." What did he say? I should have slowed down or whatever. I a little rattled. I'm late getting to my tea time. Everything there was, the dude handled it pretty well, don't you think? And I know yesterday you said not everybody who would have gotten arrested. How did you put it? This could have, people fall into these situations where police,
and it's his life, right? It's who you are. It's who you know. Because the reporter's not getting out and following that person if it was just a patron, and filming it. Yeah. The cops were trying to get him to admit to a crime while he's sitting in the car, which when you're in that moment, you're scared and you're anxious, and you're just gonna, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, well I'm sorry, yes I'm sorry I did that.
Because you're trying to be yes or
mumbling,
no,
and they charge you with a felony, and that's the scary thing about this. You think about it, and yeah, it's easy to say, oh, Scotty Scheffler, move on. But I'm like, man, if that was a patron that made that one wrong turn and that cop said, you ran me over with a car, that dude would be in jail right now. So
very probably and possibly. By the same token,
the same exact scenario that happened.
By the same token, it sounded like that didn't happen, and I'm glad he didn't get charged with something and find himself in that situation. Just because he is who he is doesn't mean he should be in jail because other people.
No, I'm not saying he should be, but other people would be.
So yeah, and certainly people with less means, right? If they didn't have an attorney, they didn't have the media, they didn't have Jeff Darlington following them with a cell phone video and then putting it all over national television. Yeah, you and me doing that, we might still be sitting in jail. Probably couldn't hire the best attorney they have in Kentucky. And
be like, well, Jeff, using my one phone call, do you know anyone good? Because I made a wrong turn at a golf tournament.
Yeah,
so.
Because I made a wrong turn at a golf tournament. This was crazy. And watching all the evidence come out, and it played out kind of, I think, how we all thought it was going to, don't you think? Just because of who the dude was. And again, we don't know any of these dudes, but that was like the most unassuming.
Well, it seemed like even that morning, you could take a step back and go, all right, it was a crazy situation. There was a fatality in the area. Everyone was on edge.
It was dark.
Thousands of people coming in. It's raining, so we understand the heightened emotions. But then you're like, you end up arresting someone and charging them with a felony after all that. It seems crazy.
Yeah, and the fact that it was him, like it could have been any golfer on tour, and it would have gotten a lot of pub. I mean, it could have, pick your dude. It could have been, pick one, right? But the fact that it was him, there's a few guys that would have made a lot of headlines. Obviously, Tiger Woods, but if it was Justin Thomas because he's from there, it would have made a big deal. Any of the big names, Rory or John Rahm, but it's the number one player.
Bryson DeChambeau.
Wouldn't that have been something? Like, how would he have handled?
Didn't Patrick Reed joke like, "It's not me this time"?
Yeah, Patrick Reed was pretty funny about that. I mean, he's not wrong, by the way. Hey, he goes all shaggy. It wasn't me. Yeah. But this played out the way you thought, because it sounded like there was an overzealous cop, and look, what was going through that guy, man. Maybe the last couple people flew by him and he was pissed off and whatever. But this played out the way I think we all saw it playing out, and Scotty Scheffler has had everything dropped. Bill says, do I still equal Caitlin Clark, Jeff? Even bad clubs usually have a much, it says much, have a must-watch player or two, like the Indiana Fever. The worst part about the Isotopes right now is, who do you want to go out to the tournament or to the Monument and watch? Does anyone on this roster blow your socks? No, the best prospect was called up and hurt, right? We go out and watch the ball. I enjoy the ballpark.
I think that, for me, minor league baseball, I think it's levels. There's fans that care about the product and want to see prospects and guys that are going to go to the next level. There's fans that just kind of enjoy the environment. I've kind of been both. I'm more now the person that if I'm going out there, I'm thinking, all right, what can I enjoy? What's my son going to do? Like Science Night sounds awesome. Do that with a baseball game. It's all about who you are and who you go with.
What are you going for? All right, when we come back, you get hoops tonight. Who you like, why this is going to be extended, in my opinion. Why the Wolves win tonight and send this thing back to Texas. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM at AM 610, a Sports Animal.
Get ready to step into the ring of it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother.
I like the Wolves tonight. What do you like? I like the Wolves to extend it and send it back. There's a pride factor there. You know what the spread is tonight by any chance? Minnesota at home facing elimination against the Mavericks. What would you guess?
Minnesota 4.5.
Dang, freaking dang. You should be an odds maker, dude. You looking for a career?
Yeah.
I mean, like MGM will hire you. You're dead on every time. All right, fine. What's the total?
4.5 over under. I'm gonna say 224.
209.5.
Dang.
Yeah, you were way high on that one.
A little high on that one.
209.5. So I guess you would bet the over tonight. I like Minnesota tonight. Backs against the wall at home. Karl Anthony Towns with a little, with a little confidence, and I think they go home and then I think they lose in Game 6, and this thing. But I think Minnesota's too good just to bow out. I love the way they play with their backs against the wall. Now, if it comes down to it, like every other game has, and it's a one possession game. Look, is this going to stun me if the Mavericks win? Absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. And Luka Doncic is averaging 34 points a game in the playoffs, and he's been money, and I love those guys down the clutch. It will not stun me, but to pick a team, I love the way they played, and I think if they can get Karl Anthony Towns back to being Karl Anthony Towns and get a little bit of something from somewhere else, whether it's Gobert or Conley or whoever it is, I like Minnesota tonight. Who you got?
I'm with you. I think Minnesota defensively has one more strong game in them. Karl Anthony Towns attacks inside, and then they go back to Dallas. Question mark is, can they get Derek Lively back in the middle inside? Because he's been so good for them in the postseason, the rookie center. But I like Dallas in 6.
So that'll be tonight. You get it at a 6:30 start. I told you the story earlier about this Jose Lopez, the Mets reliever, who has been cut by the Mets. He got thrown out of the game yesterday, called the Mets the worst bleeping team in Major League Baseball. Well, this morning he is disputing what he said. Because he was asked straight up, JJ, are you saying you're the worst teammate or they're the worst team? He says he did not say that. He meant to insult himself, not his team. That's because he's been cut. He said the takeaway quote, reporters said he called the Mets the worst team in probably the whole bleeping MLB. He said was wrong. He was asked multiple times to clarify it on Wednesday. Instead, he said he called himself the worst teammate. He put this on his Instagram. At least he still has Instagram, even though he didn't have a job. This done. I mean, it already ends. It's done, right? They're done with it. Okay. You didn't call us the worst bleeping team. Okay, fine. You can come back.
I think it's better if you just called them the worst team instead of saying his bad teammate.
Yeah. Because, by the way, he may not be wrong. I mean, if you look at the standings and you look at where the Mets are, this is another one of those years, man, where the Mets were going to be so good, so good. The fans are, we're going to be great. We're going to be great. They're 16 games back. They are 22-33. There's not a lot of worse teams than them. The Rockies are one of them. The Marlins. And that's it in the National League. They're bad, dude. How the Mets get so bad again? They spend more money than anybody every year, don't they?
It's tough to spend the right money.
They should move to Vegas.
Because it's where you go to lose money?
Yes. Yes, it's where you just go give money away. And, by the way, they can get out of the Yankees shadow. Like, I know the Mets have been there, and people love the Mets. And especially if you grew up on Long Island, like New York's really interesting. You know, Manhattan and the Bronx, you're pretty much a Yankees team in Westchester County. But if you're Long Island and I think Brooklyn, for the most part, you're Mets in New York. Staten Island, Queens, you're the Mets. Long Island, you're the Mets. But it's like the Clippers to me in some respects, but the Mets have been there even longer. Like, you're always going to be second fiddle in your own market. You're a big market team, and you make a splash, and yeah, you have those great teams back, in the 80s when you beat the Red Sox and the Dwight Gooden years. But man, you're always, even when you're better than them in that 1 year in every 18 years, you're still second fiddle to them. And And you don't want to be like some places would you say it's okay. Like the Angels, it almost seems like that they're fine. They just exist. They're Orange County's team. They're whatever. The Mets don't want to be that. I don't know how you get out of that. And they're not ever going to leave New York, obviously.
Well, if they leave New York, then
they're not leaving.
They lose value.
Right, I get it. I said that tongue in cheek. Certainly, they're not.
Like
ever
to me,
leaving.
this you're in the shadow, but this is not a Clipper situation. Like the Clippers,
What
like,
makes it different?
Because I think the Mets have a much stronger hold.
Because they've won in the past. Because they actually have a championship.
I think you look at that city.
Yeah, they have fans. They have fans.
There's
That's fair.
Mets fans. There's New York Jets fans. There's New York Giants fans.
There's
like
no Clipper fans.
The Clipper fans
Yeah.
can't afford Laker tickets.
Yeah, well, that's right. Now they're getting their own new building. Now they may get fans with this new building.
Which is some of the funniest videos you see online. Is like on social media that they like talk to Clipper fans like before a game. Like, oh, when did you become a Clipper fan? It's like, because I couldn't afford Laker
Yeah,
tickets.
I couldn't get Laker tickets, bro. Like they're way too much money, bro. I was able to scrape enough to go see the Clippers, bro. By the way, is it Hulu? Who's running the Clipped, the series on the Donald Sterling Clippers? Is it Hulu? Is that where it is? Yeah, I got to find that. That looks fascinating to me. It does. More in LA, more Clippers fans or Charger fans? Right? Or Angel fans? It's tough, man. And New York's way more of a sports-centric market than LA is anyway. But just playing second fiddle in your own town.
Well, there's opportunities now if you're the Angels. Oakland's available.
To move to Oakland?
Sacramento.
Again, same thing. They're not leaving Southern California. The value of their team, they're not leaving that market. Any more than the Mets are. And I know, I tongue-in-cheekily suggested that. But they're not going to. Makes no sense. All right, we talked earlier today. If you're just joining us, Lobos and Aggies will play just once in men's basketball over the next couple of years. Women's basketball already only plays once. Volleyball, I don't think, plays at all. A lot of these in-state rivalries have gone away. This one has been different. They're one of only two non-conference rivalries that play home and home every year. Lipscomb and Belmont in Nashville are the other, Battle of the Boulevard. And with the Mountain West expanding their conference schedule from 18 to 20 games, it takes away two non-conference opportunities, and they're only going to play once. They'll start this year in the pit because they're going to go opposite where the football game is and rotate that. But some of you are fired up about it, and some of you are bummed about it. I don't like it, but I understand it. I think it's 2 games a year where both of these fan bases were pretty fired up about it, where you talked a bunch of junk, where you filled buildings. With what kind of games will these two programs replace the lost game? We'll see. I know the Lobos are working on some cool things. I think UNM got the message on strength of schedule this offseason. They were, 24 net, JJ, by the time it was all said and done? 26? And we're told flat out you would not have made the NCAA tournament if you didn't win the automatic. So how do you fix that? Well, it's non-conference. Well, Jeff, how'd they get to be 24? Well, they won games, and they won games in conference, and part of it's like, I don't know. Honestly, part of it's like, I don't get it. But the committee flat out said, yeah, their strength of schedule wasn't good. And so they got to go out and fill
and it's to determine what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
So you can kind of make that final decision over the next couple of years with how the non-conference schedule plays out.
All right, when we come back, I'll get you up to date on everything that happened this morning, what you got to know as you go through your day. And Cowboys defensive coordinator, this is a new defensive coordinator. Does he need to overhaul the defense? What does he see for your Dallas Cowboy defense? Next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Cross-Camara here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Light skin shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Nelly Korda opened up with a 10 on a par 3 at the U.S. Open, the number one player in the world. Going to have a tough time making the cut at the U.S. Open. A 10 on a par 3. She'd put 3 balls in the water. That happened today. She was 10 over after 5. 8 over after 5. 8 over after. You get hoops tonight. Mavericks and Timberwolves. Last night in the hockey, Edmonton beat Dallas 5-2. That series is 2-2. And I think a lot of your friends and people and whatever are going to be talking about Lobos and Aggies basketball. They'll play just once a year for the next 2 years, but I think that is the plan going forward. And with all the changes in college athletics and everything else, just once instead of twice a year for Lobo and Aggies men's basketball. Text line says, I wouldn't mind if the Wolves pop off 7 wins in a row after Boston. Some people feel that way. That's on the text line. That's 505-246-0610. All right, JJ, the Cowboys have a new defensive coordinator, Mike Zimmer. And you go in and sometimes, what's the new boss say? Do we got to overhaul it? What do you think? He says you don't need a big overhaul. And he says sometimes he's been hired to change things up, but he wants players to know that this is his defense. These are going to be changes. He says, quote, it's like I told the defense the first day I got here. I said, this is a different deal for me. Usually when I come in, the defense is not good, They're pretty darn good. At the end of the day, we got to do it the way I want it done. I know if you try to come in and do somebody else's thing, it just doesn't go well, end quote. So he's going to basically say, all right, you guys have been good. I'm going to make you better, but you're going to do it my way. It's not an overhaul of talent, but it's an overhaul of scheme is what it sounds like to me, doesn't it?
Definitely feels that way. And for Dallas, one of those players I'm looking at it is Micah Parsons.
Mm-hmm. You can have some new shoes,
maybe. He's a player that, for the Dallas defense to finish the year stronger, he has to be a bigger playmaker. I see that from Myles Garrett. You see it from T.J. Watt. Like Micah Parsons is talked about in that vein, and he's got to show it this season.
What's the strength of their team, defense or offense? Dallas.
I would lean defense right now.
I would too. I'm more sure of the personnel on that side. And look, Dak's fine. CeeDee Lamb's good. I don't think they run the ball incredibly well, and I wonder what they've got. I think their tight end's going to be good. I like Ferguson to have a big year 2 and become a really good tight end for them. But I think their strength is what they potentially are defensively. And now I add Mike Zimmer to this mix, and I've got a proven defensive coordinator who's been really, really, really good over the years. To me, that's where my strength is. So. NFL news this morning: Jalen Waddle, Dolphins wide receiver, 3-year contract extension, $84.75 million. It's $76 million guaranteed. He's now the 4th highest paid wideout in the National Football League. Tyreek Hill, his teammate, is number 1. It's a lot of money in wide receivers, dude. And you're going to have to make a decision on your quarterback this offseason, aren't you?
Yeah, I think they're kind of telling you what decision they're going to make.
They're going another way. I mean, they're not going to give Tua Tagovailoa $50 million. You want to hang around for 30, we can make it work.
Yeah.
And he's going to say no.
They're like, we like you, but it ain't about you.
Yeah.
It's like you're just get it to these guys, not elevate these guys.
Yeah, and so they're in the quarterback market next year probably. I could see a guy like Jalen Hurts ended up there. Jalen Hurts is on the last year of his rookie deal.
Who?
I'm sorry, Justin Fields.
I don't see that.
Why?
It's not Mike McDaniel quarterback.
It's what?
It's not. That does not fit.
It's not a Mike McDaniel's quarterback.
Their offense.
It's a guy who just got to get the ball out to these studs, and he's going to be affordable.
He doesn't play that way.
Can he?
You could try it, and if he's on the cheap. But
they're going to be on a quarterback on the cheap.
Like they want. What's going to be hard is the one thing you really haven't seen from Justin Fields is good accuracy, and that's the entire Dolphins offense.
That's fair. Who's on the market then? I mean, Dak's going to be too expensive.
That could be the other quarterback, Pittsburgh.
See, I just don't see it.
Why? That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I get it.
Throw in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Just get short passes and get it out. And let it go. And you know who's going to be really the running back, the running back that got hurt, rookie running back,
Achane.
I was thinking Arcand, and I knew that was wrong. I think he's going to be terrific. if he comes back healthy, and it sounds like he is.
Like H-Hand, they drafted Jalen Wright, who was the second fastest running back in this year's draft. 40 yards combine.
Yeah.
You're going to squeeze a little bit out of Mostert this year.
They're just speed. I look like what quarterback's going to be available if they move off of Tua. And there's always someone, isn't there? Geno might be. Sam Darnold will be again. It's everybody's savior, it feels like. Everybody seems to love Sam Darnold. He's done nothing in the National Football League. Like, what's he done? And I like him too, and I don't even know why. Seriously. What's he done?
He was drafted in the first round. That's what he's done.
Out of USC. Yeah. So that's your big NFL signing today. That's kind of a big deal. The 49ers signed Jawan Jennings, 2 years, up to $15.4 million. So that's not their guy, but now it's their guy. That makes sense. He's going to be their third or their fourth receiver, and he is set. And so they're in a pretty good spot. Other stuff this morning that we talked about, and this is kind of cool locally. Anaya Ogben, the former Lobo women's basketball player who was done playing basketball, was packing up. She was going home to Texas. And she got a call from Josh Skarsgård. He's the new girls basketball coach at Albuquerque Academy. Said, do you want to come over and be an assistant coach and director of player development at Albuquerque Academy? And she unpacked her stuff and she's staying. And I told you earlier, I love this on so many levels. I love that you're getting somebody like her and giving her a chance, because we always talk about how do you get experience? Well, they don't have any experience. How do you get it, man? Somebody's got to give you a break. Somebody's got to give you a chance. JJ, who knows her way better than I, as he travels with Lobo Women's Basketball League. And I'll let you speak to this, how great of a person she is. But I also love that we're doing what we can to keep some of the best people here in Albuquerque. And instead of letting everybody, and I know she's not from here, but she went to school here. She's been a member of this community. And for Josh to reach out and create a job and say, hey, got a job for you, stay here, don't go back. I love that. I love it on every level.
It is going to be so impactful for those young girls at the academy to have a person that they can look up to, someone that can teach them on and off the floor. And you need kind of that bridge in coaching. I've seen a ton of staffs, as you have, Jeff, and you've been around, and you kind of look at how coaching staffs are built and how you put things together. It's a ladder. It's your head coach has been there, done that forever long. He has this trusted assistant, and then it's, maybe it's a former player or something that kind of bridges the gap, and then there's, one coach that might have just been a graduate assistant. So you kind of have that level of experience plus chemistry building that you have, the connection that you're able to have with the players. He's just a good person, man. And that Augment, always a fantastic attitude, smile on their face, one of the hardest workers you're ever going to see. And that is a great addition for the academy.
Yeah, I'm fired about it. Just to keep her. I think that's actually a really, really big deal. All right, what else do you get tonight? You're going to get one more hockey game tonight. National Hockey League game today, Rangers and Panthers. Last night, it was the Stars who jumped out to a 2-0 lead and then watched Edmonton score 5 in a row. By the way, I watched that whole national anthem thing again. I just love the way they have one dude in the stands. He's in the middle of it. He sings the first verse of Old Canada. The whole place sings the rest of the song. Brilliant. Who do you like tonight? Panthers, Rangers, game 5-2-2 at MSG. Panthers minus 125. The over under 5.5. They've been putting some goals on. I like the over tonight. Rangers at home?
Rangers in overtime.
I will take the Panthers in overtime because everything goes overtime. Everything in that series has been going overtime, and I love it. I'll take the Panthers. And then you can watch some of the U.S. Open for women. Auburn just won the men's national championship for golf. Auburn. The Lobos were there last week. Auburn won the men's championship, NCAA golf. Get College World Series is going to start. The regionals are going to start up. You been watching any of the softball? You do that? It's a good watch, man.
I dabble in it.
Softball's a good TV sport. It's actually, and be getting a ton of it. That and lacrosse. That was another really good TV sport. And then everybody will be watching for the Trump jury to come in. Dude, I watch the news a lot in my office. I swear to God, there's nothing else going on in the world. There's not two wars burning, and there's not crime going, and there's not, I mean, every moment of every cable news segment was literally so-called experts telling me what they think the jury's thinking as we await the verdict. I get it. It's a big deal. You got a former president on trial. But it's like, there was nothing going on in the world. What would we be covering if the former president wasn't on? Anyway, that'll be over on News Radio KKOB. I like the way you avoided that. Kenny will be here tomorrow. So will Nick Nee. We'll get you some golf tips. Talk with Kenny Thomas, get his thoughts about Lobos and Aggies just playing once a year. Jim Rome Show is next. Heard with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men Ons here at 4. You get Isotopes and Oklahoma City. After that, we're back tomorrow morning with more award-winning radio starting at 7 a.m. A big day for you?
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Adrian looks great. Thank you. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Mitch, there's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca. Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts the Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. It's upstairs, goes to the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed as that one right through the gap in right center. Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
Coach Romero barking out his orders there to his players. He's been around the game for a long time. Nice shot to center field. That'll bring runners in. Just like that, LaCueva will bring 3 runners in to go up 3-0. Runner advances to third.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.